Hello my friends, it's Lisa and welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to be discussing my winter TBR, which is basically just books that I have been feeling like reading or I feel like I might be wanting to pick up over the winter months. I definitely feel like certain authors or certain genres just tend to stick out to me and be things I want to read during certain seasons. So these are the books that I feel like I'm going to be drawn to over the next couple of months. Some of these books have been on TBRs before, so we'll see if I actually get to them. They're just the books that I have been feeling drawn to lately and that I might want to pick up during the winter time. But before we get into today's TBR, I wanted to quickly thank today's sponsor, which is Ana Luisa. So I have worked with Ana Luisa before and I am now an ambassador for Ana Luisa, which is super exciting. I just love the brand, I love what they stand for, and I also just love their jewelry as well. They have high quality jewelry for a very reasonable price. A lot of luxury jewelry brands mark up the prices on their jewelry and Ana Luisa does not do that. They also are a very environmentally friendly brand, which I love. They are completely carbon neutral, which means anything that they are putting out into the environment by creating their jewelry, they are counteracting, which I think is super important. So they sent me 3 new pieces to share with you all. I'm currently wearing all of them, but I will of course show close-ups. So first I have the willow necklace. It's this kind of 2-in-1 necklace. There's one clasp, but it gives that layered look, which I really love. I love layering necklaces, but I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to match which necklaces look good together. So this is just makes it very easy to have that layered look. I also have the Rowena bracelet, which is this beautiful delicate bracelet with these floral like detailings. And then I have the Stephanie ring, which is this very simple gold band, and this is a type of ring that will look good layered with other rings that Ana Luisa has because it's just so simple. You can literally wear it with anything. And that's something that I really like about their jewelry, is that they all look really nice layered or worn together, because I feel like a lot of their jewelry just naturally goes together really well. So I love that. It makes layering and wearing different pieces together really easy because your girl needs help with that. So Ana Luisa is actually currently running one of their biggest sales of the year. They have a buy one get one 60% off sale happening right now. So if you want to check it out, check the link at the top of my description to shop around, look around for yourself or for someone else. Definitely recommend taking advantage of the sale because I love their pieces. I think they're so high quality and I just cannot recommend them enough. But thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get into my winter TBR. So the first book that I really want to read over the next few months, I feel like this is like the book to read in winter. Maybe I'm wrong, it's just the vibes that I get I feel like you should read in winter, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is a book that's been out for quite some time. It's very popular. A lot of people really love it. A lot of people really hate it. I don't know where I'm gonna fall in that, like which category I'm gonna fall into, but I'm really excited to read it. So I really know like the barest minimum about this book. I know it's about a circus that pops up at night, I assume. And I think it's about these 2 magicians or 2 people within the circus who have to compete, and I think only one of them is going to make it out alive. But I believe there's a romance. I just always assumed that there was one. Maybe I'm wrong. I really don't know. I'm very excited to go into it though because I've heard so many things about this book, good and bad. I know Hannah from A Clockwork Reader loves this book, and she is someone that I feel like I have very similar taste to, especially when it comes to fantasy. So I'm excited. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this, but if not, I'll just cry because I'm disappointing Hannah. So I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy it, and for some reason it just gives me winter vibes. I feel like this is the perfect book to cozy up next to the Christmas tree, next to the fairy lights, have a hot chocolate, and read this. I don't know. It just seems like it fits that vibe. Next I have a book that I mentioned in my October TBR and surprise, surprise, didn't read it. So I'm hoping that over the next few months I can actually get to it, and that is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I believe that this is about these 6 students competing to be a part of this secret society at this like academy. I don't know if it's a magical academy or if it's like there's magic just in the secret society type of thing. But I know that there are 6 students competing and only 5 of them will make it and 1 will not. And I just heard so many great things about this. I've heard that it's very character driven, which is like my jam. I love character driven books. If I care about the characters, I care about what's going on kind of thing. So the idea of it being very character driven does not scare me. I'm just very excited to read it. I know this is a book that's been getting a lot of buzz recently, so I really hope that I can get to it. I feel like something about magic schools, secret societies, competitions. That just seems very wintry to me. I don't know. This is another one I just feel like would be perfect to read around this time of year. So because I didn't get to it in October, I hope I can get to it in the next couple of months. You will sense a bit of a theme. I have a lot of fantasy on this TBR. Something about fantasy and winter it just makes sense. I read fantasy all year round because it's my favorite genre, but specifically in winter, it just feels like that's when I need to read all of the fantasy, so that's mostly what this TBR is. But to spice it up, I do feel like I have been wanting to pick up a classic recently. I feel like winter, again, is another good time to pick up a classic. So I do have 3 Jane Austen books that I have yet to read. I have Emma, I have They're All Falling, Sense and Sensibility, and I have Persuasion. I'm trying not to drop all the books. So if you have read any of these ones, which one should I start with? I am typically the type of person who likes to save the best for last, so keep that in mind. Maybe give me like which one I should start with, which one I should end on. Should I end on a high note? Which one of these is your favorite? I would love to know just any of your thoughts because I really have no idea. I feel like I'm going to love Emma a lot, but I don't know. I'm excited to read all of them though. I feel like I'm not going to pick up all of them in the winter. That's too much for this pea-sized brain, but I definitely want to pick up at least one of them over the winter time. Don't do shots for how many times I say winter in this video. Unless it's shots of water, then go ahead. So moving back into more fantasy, I do have a couple of fantasy standalones, at least I believe they're standalones, that I would really like to get to over the next couple of months. So the first one is In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. This is a book that was sent to me by my bestie Darian. Love you, thank you. But I put it on my wish list simply because she loves this book, so that was good enough reason for me. But then I actually learned kind of more about what the actual book was about, more than just like, oh, Darian likes it, sounds good. So now I'm a little bit more intrigued. It sounds really up my alley. So I believe this book is following our main character who has these magical abilities, and if you are someone that has these abilities in this world, you get partnered with like essentially a bodyguard kind of. So they are someone who kind of watches over you and can kind of control you and your magic. So the main character has always tried to keep her magic hidden, but obviously one day it gets discovered and I think she gets brought to the castle. She gets this person who's like watching over her and can like control her and her magic, and then there's also the princess, so there's a lot of royalty involved. It does say that there is court intrigue, which immediately I was like, okay, that's gonna be great. I'm excited because I feel like I always enjoy books set like in a palace with court intrigue. Like that's like a buzzword for me, so very excited to read this. I think it sounds really great, and obviously Darian loves it, so that's also a plus. Oh my god, I apologize for my voice and everything in this video. I have a cold right now, so I just sound gross. But anyway, the other fantasy standalone that I have is Cinderella's Dead by Kaylin Bayron. I got this for Christmas last year, and I still haven't read it. I don't know how to read. This is honestly a book that I don't know too much about. I was just gifted it for Christmas from my mom, and we'll see if my mom knows my taste. But I obviously was intrigued because it does have Cinderella in the title, which leads me to believe that it is a retelling or has something to do with the Cinderella tale in some capacity, so that obviously makes me intrigued. So taking a quick look at the synopsis of this book, it seems like Cinderella was like a real person, found the prince at the ball, and it's been like 200 years since that has happened, and now all of the girls attend this annual ball to find like a suitable match. It says if they don't find a match that they're never heard from again, so that's kind of terrifying. But our main character, Sophia, just wants to marry her childhood best friend. Oh, it's gonna be best friends to lovers. I'm ready. But she actually tries to flee from the ball, but then she finds herself in like Cinderella's mausoleum, and then she meets someone who is like the last descendant or last known descendant of Cinderella. So I don't know, it just sounds really interesting. It sounds like a really interesting take on the Cinderella tale, and I'm very excited about it. Again, love a good fairy tale retelling, reimagining moment, so I'm excited. I probably have said I'm excited 50 times in this video, saws about it, but I'm excited. I really tried to say something different there, and it's just what came out, but oh well. This is also another one I heard a lot about before it was released, and then it came out, and then I haven't heard that much about it since. So if you've read this one, definitely let me know your thoughts. The next book is the sequel to a book that I read last year and loved, and that is Ironheart by Nina Varela. This is another series that just feels like it should be read in winter. I think I read Crier's War in like September or something, but all I was reading it, I was like, yep, this is a winter book. I don't know, does anyone else do that? Does anyone else associate certain books, certain genres, certain vibes with certain seasons? I would love to know, but I would really like to pick up the sequel. I also kind of want to reread Crier's War too, so I might do that because it's been so long that I feel like I'm going to forget certain details, but I really enjoyed Crier's War, so I'm very excited to pick up the sequel. Also, this cover is stunning. So Crier's War, the first book in this duology, is following Crier, who is this like princess, I guess, kind of this royalty within this world, but she's also an automaton? Automaton? Words? Autome. That's what it is. I don't know what just happened when I tried to say that word. It's autome, which basically is like not a real human, kind of. But the autome in this world have kind of taken over. They're kind of ruling over the humans, and there's a lot of humans that are kind of trying to rebel. So we're also following, oh god, what is her name? Ayla, who is a human, and she is a part of the rebellion, and she is given the task, or she's trying to sneak into the castle to kill Crier, but obviously that doesn't happen, it doesn't work, and they end up crossing paths and maybe developing feelings for one another, but obviously one is autome, one is human. There's kind of a war between the two, and it's just how their lives cross and kind of trying to figure out where the world should go from here. I'm not describing this well. I have sick brain. I'm sorry, I'm trying my best. But yeah, it's really interesting. I really loved Crier's War. It's a book that I feel like I really love, but never talked about it enough because I read it like right after I read An Ember in the Ashes, which if you've been here for a little bit, you might know I love An Ember in the Ashes. So it was just like completely overshadowed by my love for that series. But I really liked Crier's War, and I definitely need to talk about it more. So excited to pick up the sequel. Again, might do a reread of Crier's War before jumping into the sequel, but either way, gonna read it, hopefully finish off some series. That's definitely a goal that I have, especially in the new year, to complete some of the millions of series I've started. So hopefully I can work towards that goal with this book. Another book that, again, winter vibes. Winter vibes are being had with this book. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but the next book I want to read is Graceling by Kristen Kishore. This is the first book in a new series, which I just said I need to finish some series, and now here I am wanting to start another one. It's fine. It's all fine. This is one of those series, I think it's like companion novels, but they're all set in the same world. They're all set in like the Graceling realm, and I think they're all following different characters, but this first one is following Katza. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, but she is a Graceling, which is a person that is born with this like rare like skill. I also believe this is another book where there is royalty or a kingdom involved, as there is with many of the books that I've mentioned in this video. Actually, looking at them all, I'm like, huh, there kind of is a theme I sense. Maybe that's a reading vlog. A reading vlog idea? Let me know if you'd want to see a reading vlog of me reading books with court intrigue or royalty, because I just know that I want to read all the books with that, so maybe that's a vlog. Anyway, I think that there's a kingdom and royalty involved. I think maybe she goes to work for people, the royalty. I don't know. I really don't know much about it, and that's kind of how I want to keep it. I think that these are kind of like romance fantasy type of books, or fantasy romance. Whatever way is correct to say that, fantasy romance sounds better. But this is a series that's been out for a long time. I've always been intrigued by it, like with the original covers. I remember seeing the original covers in Barnes & Noble, and then when they got a cover redesign, I was like once again intrigued by them, and I'm just really excited to pick them up. I feel like I'm going to like them. I mean, fingers crossed. I hope I'm going to. It seems like my kind of thing. So I'm excited to finally pick this book up after like, I don't know, like over 10 years since it's been released. We all know I love to be late to the party with certain things. There's also a couple books that I don't own that I would maybe like to get to if I can get my hands on them, or get like a copy from my library or something. So I would like to finish the Vicious duology. That might be a trilogy, but it's a duology right now by V. Schwab. I recently read Vicious in October, and I really enjoyed it. There is a comic or like a graphic novel or something that I think takes place in between the first and second book, and then there's obviously the second book, which is Vengeful. So I would like to get to those. My voice is starting to go, but sort of along the same lines of wanting to finish some of the series I've started. I would like to complete that one, especially because I recently read Vicious, so it's still like fresh in my mind. Sometimes I wait too long in between series that it's just, or reading the next books in series that I have to reread them. So I don't want to have to do that with Vicious. So fingers crossed I can get to the graphic novel and Vengeful in the next few months. There's also a book that I recently have been feeling drawn to again. It's a book that I have gone back and forth on if I want to read since basically everyone started talking about it, I feel like at the beginning of this year, and that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Is that how you say their name? I think so. But this is one of those books that I've heard people talk about for a while now, and my interest in it comes and goes. Like, there will be certain times where I really want to read it, and then there's other times where I'm like, the last thing I want to do is read that book, and I don't know why. So I would love to know if any of you know my reading taste, if you think I would like it. I have heard it been compared to Sarah J. Maas, which doesn't really help me because I like some Sarah J. Maas books. I feel very meh about some of them, and I've not loved some of them as well. So that doesn't really help me. I would love to know if you think I'd like it. I also would love to know your thoughts, because this is another one that has a lot of mixed reviews, which is why my interest in it has come and gone, but it's one that I have felt drawn to recently, so I might try and pick it up over the next few months. We will see. But that was actually the final book for my TBR for this winter. We'll see how many of these books I get to. Once again, let me know if you'd want to see a reading vlog for like books involving royalty or court intrigue. I was kind of already thinking of maybe doing that before I filmed this video, but like looking at some of these books, I feel like that's just like a common theme. So let me know if you'd want to see that reading vlog. Also, let me know if you've read any of these books, any of your thoughts on them, which ones I should maybe get to sooner rather than later. Also, once again, thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out the link at the top of my description to take advantage of the buy one get one 60% off sale that they're having right now. It's really great. Highly recommend their products. They're such a great brand doing such great things, and I just really love the company and the products a lot. So highly recommend checking them out. But that is going to be it for my winter TBR. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.